I'm ready.
We're live.
I'm ready. Sweet. Welcome back, everybody.
Yes. Another live stream.
Yeah. Here we go again. I got so excited there. I completely spaced on like how to properly do an intro.
I was about to say you were. I thought I'm ready. I'm ready.
So just for proper context, I have had a hellacious work week. Every day I've had to begin my day with not one but two 5-hour energies thrown down in quick succession, immediately followed by either a 300 milligram caffeine energy drink, or coffee. And then today was no different. 2 5-hour energies, 1 rain in the morning, and then a green boy for the night.
A green boy.
Green boy.
Peace and parsecs. We got Nerd Herder.
Oh, hey, everybody.
Right.
So thank you guys for showing up. I'm just going through my super not awkward introduction at all. So yeah, hellacious work week, heavily caffeinated, and how the hell are you, Brad?
Cat's also in the chat.
Woo!
Yeah.
Woo! Well, the supporter right there.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah, you look it. You look like shit. I say that with
thank you. Yeah.
All the love I have in my heart for you. You look like dog shit.
Oh, gee, I mean, see me without my glasses.
Oh God, no! Please put them on. Please, stop. Think of the children.
No, I'm. Yes, Nerd Herder likes awkward.
Came to the right place.
No, I'm tired. Like I'm at that precipice where like my thoughts get real weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Germany is the fatherland and Russia was the motherland, does that mean the entire Eastern Front was about of oh, hold on, Trish. Beautiful, thank you. Does that mean the entire Eastern Front was domestic violence?
I like how you frame that.
Yeah.
I like how you frame that. Yeah. You know, just Germany and Russia are stupid. They're stupid. They're stupid. Okay. Would that mean like World War II is just a really bad divorce?
With America as the lawyer.
I like how we reduced an entire like earth-shattering, history-changing global conflict in which like hundreds of millions of people died, and we're like, it's just a divorce. Hey, we take things seriously over here. Yes, dude. I know. Yeah. There's days, man, where like you've got all the mental drive to get in front of this microphone and talk, but your body's just like, fucko, no. Yeah, like it's. I mean, just for my own edification, like this week has been hellacious because Texas is in the middle of this really, really crazy spike, and we're short-staffed now because of the virus, and I'm having to do more work than I've usually done, flexing muscles that I have not used in a while, and my stress level is just like, whoop, and I hit a peak today, man. It's bad. It's bad. So I needed this.
Yes. And Pizza and Parsecs commented custody battles? Question mark.
That would be between like Italy and Japan. That would be the custody. Whichever one you want. I mean, I'm sure Italy's lovely, and I'm sure Japan is lovely. But maybe not in the 1940s. They probably weren't that lovely.
Yeah, no. Running around a lot lately. Work's killing me, too. And then trying to get ready for this kid.
You're gonna be a daddy. Yeah, I saw the sonogram photo. That was cool.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We posted those.
Yes.
Yes.
It's funny because today, I posted about this earlier. Today is the 2-year anniversary of my friend Jesse passing away. Not to bring down the mood, not the intention here. So I posted a thing about Jesse, and I posted the suicide prevention hotline thing. But Jesse was a massive Star Wars fan. He and I would get into heated debates all the time about one thing, and it was always this one thing, and he always he would bring it up to pick a fight with me. And the question was, Was Sidious playing possum with Mace Windu, or did Mace Windu actually have the upper hand? I was inclined to believe that Mace had the upper hand. Jesse made some very compelling arguments. And if I'm honest, at some point he did change my mind. I just kept arguing devil's advocate to fuck with him. Because like he would get super crazy passionate about it, and it was always fucking hilarious to me. So, you talk about Star Wars kind of being this thing that is there for us in tough times. I was watching a little bit of The Rise of Skywalker today for him. He was not here when it was released, and he would have loved Rise of Skywalker because how central Palpatine was that whole thing, and Sidious was his favorite character. So it was therapeutic. It was therapeutic. So you're absolutely right, man. Star Wars is there for us when shit gets crazy,
And thank you, Leslie and Kat. Thank you. And
hey, Leslie's here. Leslie's here.
Yes. And then Nerd Herder said Palp was legit concerned, no doubt.
I think so. I mean, wouldn't you be? If you had Samuel L. swinging that thing in your face, wouldn't you just be a skosh concerned?
The only thing that like causes me to pause with that is, what if that was just an act to try and get Anakin to kind of jump over that last little hurdle that he was that was ultimately a betrayal of the Jedi Order. Like that was the point of no return for Anakin.
Yeah, I'm really inclined to agree with you.
Yeah,
I am not the type of person that believes that Sidious would leave things unplanned, right?
No.
So I'm inclined to agree with you. Just saying, like, if I had Samuel L. Swinging a lightsaber in my face, that's a pucker factor of 10. I mean, like, come on.
Yeah.
That's some scary shit. That's some scary shit. I mean, not as scary as Yoda jumping all nimbly bimbly in front of your face. Like that'd be like a mosquito with a lightsaber, which is in South Texas. In South Texas, that's a terrifying thought.
That is true.
Man, I'm stoked to be here. I mean, this is a cool way to spend the Friday, right?
Yeah.
So
especially now that we figured out how to do this.
Yes. Now we just got to get past that like awkward phase where it's all wacka, So we are gathered here tonight
on this most joyous occasion.
Yes, to talk the Flash. So Flashpoint, and this is why I wanted to do this show tonight. This is exactly why I wanted to do this, because you are a Flashpoint maniac.
I do. I have my omnibus.
Yes,
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Brad has been such a good friend over the last couple of years that he's actually shown me how friends are supposed to act. My best friends for years were just dicks to each other. It's just we're dysfunctional as all get out. And Brad is different. So
I'm a dick, but at the same time, I'm enjoyable.
Yeah, it's this thing. Like he would piss me the hell off because he would do these nice things for me, and I'm like, I go full Frank Reynolds on him. Like, what's your angle?
I think the first thing that started it was I got you a birthday gift.
Yes, and like I'm not
or
used
like
to
a Christmas gift,
something like that. It was one of those events. I almost my wedding ring almost flew off my hand. Sorry, and you lose 53 pounds, it just don't fit the same way. Anyway, you bought me a gift, and instead of like treating it, and treating like someone would be like, "Great, that's awesome, man, thank you so much," I was like, "Okay, you want to fucking play around? You want to play around?"
Yeah.
And then I would try to like one up him. Because it wasn't enough for me to just be like, hey, I should do something nice for him just because. I was like, no, I'm going to fucking stick it to him. I'm going to stick it to him.
Yeah.
So then I bought you something, and then you bought me something else. And Leslie, all good dicks are enjoyable. True. Too true. I bought you something, and you bought me something. And then I got you that omnibus, that Flashpoint omnibus. And that ended it. That ended the entire competition because it was getting way out of hand.
Yeah, because my next plan was I was going to get you one of the those like real nice lightsabers, the kind that they sell at the Disneyland park.
Yeah, the one like I've been so indecisive
about. And I was going to get you Qui-Gons. And I was going to drop like $200 something on this thing, and I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to stop, because if I drop this $200-something on him, he's going to want to go farther, and it's not going to end.
Oh yeah.
So for my sake, for my sake against my wife and your wife, I stopped.
Yeah, because I would have bankrupted myself to just rub your face in it.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm crazy. I'm not normal.
We're all crazy here.
Yeah. So Flashpoint, and I only got you the Flashpoint omnibus because you would never shut up about the fucking thing.
I love Flashpoint's an amazing storyline. Like
absolutely. So much so.
I love the Flash just for the fact that, you know, when he does something major, he does something fucking major.
He's not a man of half measures.
No.
Right? As Flashpoint can attest to. I will admit, my introduction to Flashpoint was the animated movie. Yes, quite.
They probably do. Yeah.
Do they? Does Galaxy Edge have?
I mean, as long as they have the hilt available, and then you just need a green lightsaber blade.
That's it. We're not even fucking around. Stop the podcast. We're getting on a plane. I will get us hazmat suits. We'll be safe as all hell, but we're going to Galaxy's Edge. I don't even care if it's not open. We're leaping over. We're getting over that. We're going to get over that wall. Okay. Trump himself couldn't stop me. Okay. They've got Qui-Gon's lightsaber. Get out of here. Wow. You guys are derailing this whole conversation, and I love it. Like for once,
don't give me hope, Brad.
For once, it's not my my overuse of cannabis that's derailing the show. It's all of you. I appreciate that. So my introduction to Flashpoint was the animated movie, not necessarily the comic. And with all the rumors flying around, because like that's all we have now is rumors. We don't have confirmed fucking anything. So, I mean, I guess it's good fodder for speculation shows, but I want some concrete information. So with all the rumors swirling around about this Flashpoint and this Flash movie, I wanted to go back and kind of like refresh. So I first read the Flashpoint series on DC Universe, the comics. And that's why we like you guys here, man. You guys are keeping it spicy. I read the Flashpoint comics first, and I took my time with it because it is only like 5 issues. Now there's, ancillary and tie-in stuff, but like the core 5 issues tells the story. And I took my time with it. And then I went back and watched the animated movie again. And I realized, what that animated movie did was actually enhance what you see in that, what you read in that book. And that's not, it's funny because when I thought like, it does enhance it. It makes it kind of more enjoyable. I thought of The Killing Joke in like the first 45 minutes of that movie and how like everyone hates it. Everybody hates it. And it was like, that's an instance you could point to of like, okay, adding other stuff doesn't really enhance it. But with Flashpoint, the little things they added made it so unique. Even among the animated movies, Flashpoint Paradox is unique. What was your first experience with Flashpoint?
It was the animated movie. But even then I didn't even see the whole thing. I only seen like small bits and pieces of it. And, I sat there wondering and I was like, what in the hell is going on? This is all wrong. And so I looked into it and I found the comics, and like, this is back when they were just the single issues. No omnibus had come out yet or anything like that. But it was in California. It was when I still lived in California.
I don't know, man.
But I read them and I fell in love with the story. It's amazing, and it gets you thinking differently. It really does, because you have Wonder Woman, who's you've always seen as just a beacon of good and nothing else. Now she's a conqueror.
Mm-hmm.
You have
terrifying.
Yes. I think one of the most chilling moments in that entire series, in the series of comic books, is when I think it's, forget her name, but the reporter from the Daily Planet,
Lois Lane.
Yes, I think isn't she traveling with like a guy in like in the front lines, and they get captured by the Amazons and they kill him but keep her.
In that scene, she kills Steve Trevor. Lois Lane
Yes.
is in New Themyscira, as they call
Yes.
it, and she's reporting from the front line. She's feeding intel to Cyborg. But yeah, the guy that Diana kills is Steve Trevor. Like,
yes,
and it's not even like a merciful quick death. She's got the lasso of truth. In this case, the lasso of
she hang him basically.
She literally she David Carradine's him, man. She just like lifts him right up off the ground until his neck snaps. It's stuff like that where, you know, this is what this is why I love these kind of like Elseworld or stories in which they won't really deviate off the path. Is they push these characters into what you know this is like a normal behavior for them, and they're like, no, we're gonna flip that, you know. So like Diana would be, you know, she'd probably be the more compassionate, the more merciful. In this one, she's fucking ruthless.
She reminds me of her mother.
Yeah, like, dude, she like that. Even I don't remember if this specific panel is in the comic book, but it's in the movie where Mira gets all jealous.
Oh, Kevin, you've gone borked. Kevin, you've gone borked. Kevin. Oh, was he coming through? That face, that look on his face, though, is hilarious. Kevin. Oh,
okay, I'm back.
Hey, you're back. We had a freeze frame of your face. Hey. It was hilarious. I'm ready.
Yay! Unstable internet connections. Yeah, I was, and then. So anyway, this panel is not in the. I don't know if it's in the comic, but it's in the movie where Mira gets all jealous because Diane and Arthur did the thing, and she not only kills Mira when Mira attacks her, she also beheads her. Like, you know, Diana's. I mean, she's making a point, right? Mm-hmm. And it's something that, like, you know, Wonder Woman is. She'd probably be the more compassionate. She'd probably be more merciful, and they just flip that on its head. Yeah. And then even like, you know. Aquaman, you know, he would do more to protect life, but no, this guy's willing just to end it all.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi or stroke?
Yes.
With the amount of caffeine I've got in my bloodstream right now, who knows? 6 one way, half dozen the other.
Yeah.
We'll find out. This might be the first live stream where someone has a fucking aneurysm. So you were saying?
Yeah, no, and then you have, like you said, Aquaman, who normally a lot more level-headed, basically in the same boat as Diana. I think it started initially because he got tired of the Amazons and mankind fighting it out, so he was like, "Nope, we're putting an end to all of you."
I mean, it's really intense how you know the scale of that, and maybe it's because, you know, through the book and through the movie they always talk about, you know, millions dead and, you know. Everyone's caught in the wake of this war, and maybe it's just the time we're in. But watching that movie and reading that book, and we're reading about like the millions of dead, that was a little jarring. It was just a little jarring given the times we're living in.
Yeah,
you know. And then you got Batman, who is probably one of the more compelling characters in this series is Thomas Wayne as Batman. I like how the movie gives you a little more context to him. The book, the book kind of just like, hey, take it at face value, right?
Yeah,
like he ain't Bruce, that's for damn sure. He's not Bruce. But this is, you know, take it for face value. Whereas the movie adds that context of like, oh, you know, Bruce was killed by presumably Joe Chill, and then, you know, Martha Wayne snaps and becomes the Joker.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, am I just being a greedy bitch? But like, I want to see more of that.
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought that, like, but I think they have that as like an offshoot. Like, that's one of the little side pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you first meet Thomas Wayne in this one as Batman, he's chasing down, I guess, essentially that world's Harley.
Yo-Yo.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. You know what I going back to, Arthur being different and Diana being different and Batman being different. And I've said this before, I like stories and takes on characters that challenge me, that, you know, um, make me work to understand it, make me work to wrap my head around it, not to be so black and white about it, like, nope, hate it, yep, love it.
Yeah.
You know, um, and you take a character like Thomas Wayne as Batman, and it does that, right? Because he's still essentially Batman. So you might go into it expecting him to play by the same rules and have the same code, and it's vastly different.
Oh yeah,
this
he drops
Batman,
Yo-Yo off of a building.
yeah, like I mean, he's cool with killing.
Yeah,
And more than that, he is, I would argue, far more brutal than Bruce Wayne would be.
Yes.
When he's beating people down, he is looking to hurt them and not end it quickly. He wants you to feel everything. Benefit of being a surgeon.
Well, I mean, he kind of almost has a way of punishing himself when he does it as well, because that's the whole way that Cyborg was able to find him. When he asked Cyborg, how'd you know? Did you just use one of your cameras? And Cyborg just goes, no, you just always end up at this alley.
Yeah.
And it's the alley that Bruce was killed in.
Yeah, Crime Alley, yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, like that's kind of that's one of the things that, like, you don't think Batman would do, right? You don't think Batman would be that predictable.
Yeah.
But Thomas Wayne is obviously, he's got some more demons than Bruce might have.
He's got a lot more anger.
Yeah, because I imagine it's a different dynamic watching your parents die in that kind of way than watching your kid die. With your kid, you're supposed to be there to protect that kid. Like, that kid is your charge. So I imagine that would color his psychosis differently. Yes.
Well, and you know what though? I've always felt like, everyone always talks about how, in Batman, like how Batman should just kill Joker. That's always been a big debate of like whether Batman should kill Joker or not. Joker's always escaped. He's always killed more people, blah, blah, blah. I can honestly understand Thomas Wayne not killing Joker because the Joker is his wife.
Yeah.
He probably does still harbor some love for her despite how she's changed. And that I can understand.
Yeah, I mean,
that makes more sense to me than just some random guy who's killing people repeatedly.
It does. So this is my impression from it, right? Because, and you get a little more context about this in the movie. In the movie, Thomas Wayne makes a point before they piss off to go take care of Arthur and Diana. He breaks that glass and takes that pistol out of it. That pistol, in my headcanon, was reserved for when he found Martha. And he was going to probably off Martha and then off himself. Because at that point, his mission's done. Yeah. I don't view Thomas Wayne's mission in Gotham as
righteous.
Altruistic. Yeah, it's not wholly altruistic. I think he's trying to end Martha so he can end himself. Yes, exactly. And like I said, I think that whole thing was, I'm saving this pistol because I'm going to take Martha out with this, and then I'm out. Then I'm done. Because like you get the impression that in that alleyway, he killed Bruce's murderer. Like, he beat him to a pulp. He beat him to death. He turned his face into ground beef.
Yeah.
So
that's why you can imagine that's the same pistol that killed Bruce.
Right. And then, like, I get the impression that he doesn't have an extensive rogues gallery, because when you look at his cave, it's sparse. There's nothing. There's not a whole lot of technology. There's none of that's there. Whereas Bruce tends to keep
Bruce kept the company going.
Yeah, well, I mean, he also keeps things from the rogues that he has defeated.
Yeah.
Thomas Wayne only has a board that's full of playing deck cards, and in the middle is a Joker, and that's the one he hasn't checked off. I get the impression that that's his sole mission, is stopping Martha. Which makes it interesting because, Batman's got this mission to fight crime wherever it is, and to wage this war. Thomas doesn't have that. Therefore, it makes sense that he wouldn't be tied to any kind of ethical code, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my take on Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, no. That's fair.
Now, what I really loved about this story in general is the first time I watched the movie and then when I read through the book, the fact that like everything is set up for you to think that Eobard Thawne, Zoom, is engineering all of this, right? Everything leads up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just flips the script on you. And like, no, it's Barry. You know, Barry did something that was inherently selfish, altruistic as it might be. It was selfish, and it caused these ripples. I thought that was the best take, right? Because I think that if you were to just play it straight and be like, yeah, it's Reverse Flash, zoom, zoom, it might be one of those like, oh, okay, I kind of predicted that, you know? It wouldn't have been as big of a gut punch story-wise. I mean, that's my impression.
Yeah. And I mean, it's the fact that decision, that selfish decision he made, you know, he has his mother, but everyone else loses so much more.
Mm-hmm.
And then he makes all these decisions in the timeline that he's in now to try and fix that. To having Thomas try and help him get his spear powers back, which was basically just him giving himself the electric chair repeatedly, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if once you fail, try again.
I mean, Superman is, at this point in the beginning, Superman is non-existent in this timeline. He's not there. Cyborg has taken over as like the protector of the world, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Well, he works directly for the U.S. government.
Yes, and then you have all these heroes and villains that never had the careers that you would think, and they ended up, you know, just going into hiding. Shazam is jaded as hell in this one.
Yes, that is a weather-worn 10-year-old, man.
Yeah,
that is a weather-worn 10-year-old. And I like the detail in the book that you get because, you know, Captain Thunder, as they call him, he had this scratched up face, and then in the book it tells you that was Diana. Diana gave that to him.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, showcasing Diana's brutality, she stabs a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
She murks a kid.
Yep.
Like, and she doesn't do it because like, oh, I'm going to kill all of these kids. She only killed the one so that way they couldn't say the magic word again.
Mm-hmm.
That is sick. Like, it's metal, but
it's metal. Wow, Kevin.
Well, I mean, most brutal things are metal. I mean, come on. Just look through any of the Cannibal Corpse catalog. It's got all of it.
Cannibal Corpse doesn't count.
Oh, yes, they do. Better watch your mouth. Talking about Cannibal Corpse like that.
Were they in Terminator 1 and 2? I wouldn't know.
No, they were in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
That's true. I remember that one.
Yeah, they were actually brought there per Jim Carrey's request.
That sounds like Jim Carrey.
Well, yeah, he was like into napalm death and stuff at the time, and I was like,
yeah,
Jim Carrey's righteous. Where were we going with that?
You said killing a 10-year-old was metal of Wonder Woman.
Oh, yes, it was. It was metal, admittedly. I might write a song about it. Superman, though, is interesting. Because I don't know what to make of this. I'm having a hard time figuring this out because, like, in the mainline continuity, he crashes in the middle of a cornfield in bumfuck Kansas, right?
Okay.
But in this storyline, his rocket is like diverted off course or something or whatever, like a ripple in time.
Yeah.
Messes it up, and it lands right in the middle of Metropolis and kills like 1 million people.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out, like, what does that mean? There's obviously a meaning behind that, right? Like, Superman in like the mainline continuity really wouldn't go out of his way to kill anybody, you know? So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what like the literary device in that is. Like, what are they trying to get you to think of? What's the parallel?
So you have in the original timeline, Superman crashes in the middle of bumfuck Kansas in the middle of a cornfield and is raised by two of the nicest people you could ever meet.
Absolutely.
And he becomes the world's hero because of it.
Mm-hmm.
In this continuity, with everything switched, he comes into the planet Earth, killing millions. He's essentially landed on the planet and has millions of lives on his hands.
Yeah. Is that really on his hands?
It's not really, but I mean, knowing him, like if you think about the kind of character that he is, that's how he would see it.
Yeah, actually, possibly. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
So it's everything in this whole instance has been flipped and reversed. So you have Superman who does everything he can to preserve life, to the new Superman coming into the world killing millions.
Yeah, and then being captured by the U.S. government because of course, and then locked in this vault where he's constantly pelted with the rays of a red sun.
Mm-hmm.
He's obviously had like 0 to nil human interaction.
Yeah.
Barely knows how to speak properly. He's malnourished. I mean, he looks awful. He looks like, well, I mean, let's call it what it is. It's a one-man concentration camp, right?
Yeah.
And when they bust him out of there, it's funny because like he doesn't have that moral compass, right? So he gets startled by a bunch of them soldiers and just wipes them out, and that's interesting because like then they touch on it later. It's weird because like at that point you're like, okay, he's maybe like an innocent in a way. He doesn't really know the right from the wrong. He's not been like a dog that hasn't been socialized, right? I know I hate like simplifying it down to that point, but that's like the only thing I can think of. So. But it's weird because, like, of course, towards the end of the story, he shoots down there and tries to stop Arthur and Diana from killing each other. And, he's got – then you figure, like, okay, then something about Superman has to be innate, that compass that points him in the right direction because he went there to stop them from killing his friends. But, he's trying to – I don't think he was intentionally trying to save the world. I think he was much more laser focused on like those guys are my friends. Fuck off.
Those are the guys that saved me. No.
Yeah. And it's so Flashpoint to take like the most heroic character, the guy who even looks like a typical hero, and then reduce him down to that. Superman in the comics, he does have these like awesome monologues at times, and then you reduce this character to only saying, monosyllabic words. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, I mean, I got to hand it to Jeff Johns. And I know that like the minute on the internet, you say his name, Jeff Johns, like you are just swarmed with people who are like, fuck Jeff Johns, fucking snake in the grass, man. Because of stuff they might've heard about the DCEU and Warner Brothers. I don't know. But in this case with Flashpoint, dude, knocked it out the park, man. I mean, it's A+ storytelling.
And do we even want to talk about the note at the end?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes.
God.
Yes. You want to see a grown man cry?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like the first time you see that scene or you read that, I think it was actually more powerful in the book. Yeah. Honestly. I'm going to say that. I think in the
I mean, what I like about the book is it adds the nice touch that, and this is how it is in my head. If you read the comic, it's narrated by little panels. Like whenever there's a third person speaking over like what was going on, there's always like little chunks of note that are ripped up. Like there's like notebook paper has been ripped and stuck on there, and it has writing in it. That's how it narrates itself.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I maintain absolutely, man. Yeah. Absolutely. You nailed it. Superman is informed by how he was raised. And, if he's not raised by anybody, then he might have an innate sense of like a tribal sense of like, this is my tribe, I will protect them, but he doesn't have that moral compass. And without Jonathan and Martha Kent, he doesn't get that compass, and he doesn't become the Superman we all know and love. Perfect example of that. Red Sun. If you've ever read Red Sun or watched that new animated movie, it's, the Superman in that storyline, he's obviously bent towards doing the right thing, but because of his upbringing in Soviet Russia, his view of the right thing is a little tilted. And, he ends up kind of engaging in some atrocities, but he has justified them. And it is behavior that is a shade of Superman. Like the fundamental blocks are there, but it's just, it's tilted. It's not. It's viewed through a different prism. Whereas, and that, again, this is what I love about stories like that. Stories that deviate that hard. I love them. You know, I love them because sometimes like the same old gets a little same old, doesn't it? Like, and one of the things that, so if we're going to pivot a bit, just a skosh to the Flash movie, the rumors are that we're getting a Flashpoint, right?
Yes.
They're going to incorporate aspects of Flashpoint. I'm really curious about like, okay, are we going to get the Reverse Flash, or is this going to be like, because the CW did their own kind of spin on Flashpoint, and it didn't really involve the Reverse Flash in the same way, you know, and they pulled it off for what they were doing. Like for what they were doing, it was perfectly serviceable. But I'm curious on the big screen how you pull off this Flashpoint really without him. Because even though he had the most, of course, the Reverse Flash is narrating the opening stuff that you read. And he's got the bulk of his stuff is towards the last issue of the book. You know, it's really difficult to sell the manipulation around, like, I mean, what subtle buttons do you press with Barry Allen to get him to do this, right?
Yeah.
Now, I think in the film, they're going to lean on the fact that this DCEU Barry Allen is not terribly experienced. You know, he doesn't know the ins and outs of the Speed Force. He doesn't even know what he can really do, right? Yeah. I think they're going to probably play on that naivete. I think I pronounced that
naivety.
Correctly. Naivete. I'm going to be classy with it. I think they're going to play on that, right? It makes more sense to play on it that way, because I think in order for you to set up not only the Reverse Flash, but if you want to do it in the way that Flashpoint does it, you might need more time with the Reverse Flash. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not that smart. That's why I'm hosting a podcast and not writing these things. What do you think?
I mean, if they were going to do it in the CW, there's a lot of different things they can do, but honestly, I think they would end up changing it in some way, because that's what these different platforms allow you to do. Like you talked about how the comic is slightly different from the movie. Sometimes they can deep dive a lot more into stuff. Sometimes it's not so much, but ultimately it is going to be something different, which is what I like about these different platforms that they do it with.
Yeah.
CW, like I like what they did with Gorilla Grodd.
Yeah.
Like that was good.
The CW Flash though is, as far as a Flash television show goes, it's pretty fucking good. You know what I mean? It does get it. They get to play in a big sandbox. They get to play in a giant sandbox with a giant bunch of characters, and they get a lot of freedom to do some cool stuff. Oh, yeah. I think, you know, the thing is when you have a well-established book like Flashpoint, right, and you put that out there in the media sphere as like, okay, this script that's coming, it's got some elements of Flashpoint to it. A lot of people are going to immediately think, oh, they're adapting Flashpoint. No. If you want an adaptation of Flashpoint, the animated movie's for you. These movies, whether you're talking about DC or Marvel, very rarely do they carbon copy anything. They're going to take elements of this story and elements of this story, and then they're going to wrap it up together and they're going to put it out as its own thing. I don't see why this Flash movie is going to be any different when dealing with Flashpoint. And I think it's actually kind of essential, right? Because we've known for a while, even if they've not really like come out and publicly said it, we've known that the DCEU movies are not going to be connected in the same way that Marvel movies are going to be connected. No. These DCEU films are not telling one long story like Marvel was. They're telling individual stories around individual points with consistent characters, but they're not necessarily moving to any larger thing. So with this Flashpoint, I think it's essential in setting up the fact like, oh yeah, you're probably going to have different Batmans, different this, different that. That it makes sense to use Flashpoint as that because you're setting up the possibility of the multiverse. You're setting up the possibility of interdimensional travel with the Flash and what that potentially means for future projects. And in a way, doing it this way and using the Flash movie as the vehicle for that, it actually frees DC films up to get fucking wacky with it. They can do anything they want right now, and then they don't have to be tethered to any one continuity. Like, you know, that got me thinking with this Flash film, how influenced is this going to be with the Snyder Cut coming?
Yeah.
Right? That's an open-ended question because with the Snyder Cut specifically, I don't know, just the things I've been reading, and I get the feeling that Zack Snyder is not going back into photography on this movie just to fill in the gaps. I think that if this is his last hurrah with these characters, if this is the last time Zack Snyder is going to direct a Superman and a Batman, he's going to go full tilt and he's going to tell the story he wanted to tell from the outset. So this is just speculation. I'm not a reporter. I'm not smart enough. Hey, high school dropouts. With this, you know, with this Snyder Cut thing, I see in my head that like it makes sense that he would go back and just shoot whatever the fuck he wants. He's been given a whole shit ton of money to do it. Like, what was it, 30 million?
And I thought it was only like 20 million.
Yeah, like even if it's just 30 million, I mean, he's probably going to go over budget. They're probably going to fucking end up shelling out more money. Because like we know he's teed up Darkseid, so we know that movie is going to involve some kind of Darkseid. And if we are to believe the rumors that were circulating prior, Batman dies in Justice League. He sacrifices himself to save Superman, and I think Superman and Lois. He sacrifices himself.
Probably.
So this Batman, current iteration of Batman, Ben Affleck's Batman, could be dead. That is my wife, everyone, and she is just placating me. But I love you for it. Thank you. So I think that it actually makes a lot of sense to me if you think about it, considering Ben Affleck is not coming back to the role of Batman. Like he might show up to do some shoots here. He might. I mean, I'm just saying, you look at pictures of him, dude's in great fucking shape, right?
Oh yeah,
like, the dude's in great shape. Well, I mean, no, he let himself go there for a couple of years.
Did he? I don't remember ever seeing him like that.
There's some pretty rough photos out there, but he's in great shape. He's in good spirits. He has he still has a great relationship with Zack Snyder. He could come back and do it and finish it up. And it makes sense from the marketing standpoint of DC. You know, hey, we got Robert Pattinson coming up. They're back to shooting the Batman. And, you know, this is going to be the Batman for like at least another 3 films. And this Flashpoint thing gives them a nice avenue to be like, well, we can have a whole lot of fucking Batmans. You know why? Because we own the damn property. Which brings us to, you know, all of the shenanigans online lately. It's been the rumor that Michael Keaton is in talks to reprise his role as Bruce Wayne / Batman. And I know you had the same thought I did. I know you had the exact same thought I did, and I'm sure we had it at the exact same moment. Like periods that sync up. We had the same thought. Hold on. Do you think we get a Morbius chair in the Snyder Cut, something like he interfaces with to get info on how to defeat Darkseid? At this point, who knows? Who knows, man? Who knows? I mean, with Zack Snyder, he's made he's not shy about like sneaking in deep cuts of DC lore in there. I mean, the guy decided to, you know, use Steppenwolf in a movie, period. Like he used Steppenwolf in a movie, period. Of course, in the Snyder cut, Steppenwolf is more like a stepping stone to Darkseid. But I mean, the fact that this guy's going to pull that last scene in BVS where you see Lex Luthor in that goop, and you see that kind of like hologram of Steppenwolf. Like that was Steppenwolf. He casually slapped Steppenwolf in the end of the movie. So, you know, the Morbius chair, who knows at this point? Who knows? We're gonna find out next year. And again, this is perfect for the DC films, right? Because if Michael Keaton does come back to reprise his role as Bruce Wayne, within the Flashpoint thing, I don't think Barry goes back in time, saves his mom, and then all of a sudden Bruce Wayne is now Michael Keaton and super old. I don't see that. I think they're going to maybe try to shoehorn in the different Earths. You know, they've already established that with the DC CW shows. Like they've been playing in the sandbox of the multiverse for fucking seasons. And they even had those shows. I have not watched the Crisis on Infinite Earths arc yet. I want to, but I haven't gotten to it yet. But I know there was like in the background a newspaper of Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne from 1989, talking about Wayne Tech CEO marries Selena Kyle. And they threw that in the background just cause, you know. So they've already established that DC has already established as an entity that they're willing to mess around with the different Earths. So I think that, you know, the Flash going into back in time, I don't know how they shoehorn getting into a different Earth, but I'm sure they're going to find a way, which will make a lot of sense, right? Because if Flash goes to like Earth, whatever, 32, I'm sure there actually is comic series that take place in Earth 32. It's just a random number. And then he finds himself in that same Michael Keaton, like Tim Burton Gotham, that really gothic looking aesthetic. And I know you thought the same thing, that they're teeing up Batman Beyond.
I did.
They're teeing up Batman Beyond. You do not bring Michael Keaton back into talks to play Batman and not tee up Terry McGinnis somewhere. Like, I'm calling it right now. There's going to be a small, brief, tiny cameo of Terry McGinnis in this Flashpoint movie. I bet you anything.
I would love it. I would absolutely love it.
Batman Beyond, he needs to get his love. All right?
Yes.
He needs to get his love.
Yes, he does, because they did amazing things with Batman Beyond. I love it.
I splashed Monster Energy into my eyes.
Ooh.
That was cool. That was cool. No, but it's fine. It's fine. It's a more rapid absorption of caffeine through the eyeballs. Extremely efficient.
Oh God.
I mean, I bet you anything they're setting up Terry McGinnis, because
I love it.
I mean, so realistically, if they are teeing up Batman Beyond, I don't know if marketing-wise the smartest thing to do is to have Robert Pattinson or Matt Reeves' Batman trilogy shooting and releasing around the same time you're doing a Batman Beyond movie.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm only saying, and maybe I'm a dick for this, but I think of The Last Jedi coming out and then 6 months later Solo coming out. You know, if you have one of Matt Reeves, like say the second movie comes out, and then 7 months later, hey, Batman Beyond with Michael Keaton and whatever actor, you know, is the appetite going to be, you know, is the palate going to be fresh? Are we going to cleanse the palate before another Batman movie? I don't know. I mean, I can only speak for myself. My ass will be in that seat.
Yes. Yeah.
Provided there's no deadly virus in the air, my ass will be in that seat. I mean, if you wanted to release The Batman tomorrow and then release The Batman 2 the next day, I'll show.
Yeah.
I'll show. I got nothing better to do.
Yeah. Same.
I'm just curious because I did read a report today that said that Michael Keaton will appear in the Batsuit. And maybe I'm a dick for this, but my first thought was like, oh, thank God we have better materials to make that thing out of now.
Yeah. That's what I was just thinking now. It's like,
can you imagine how heavy that Batsuit was in 1989? That was like thick gauge rubber. Like,
I imagine the cow weighs much.
Yeah, dude. Like, and I'm just saying, like, he ain't a spring chicken anymore. Michael Keaton could be frail. You're gonna put him in a suit that's gonna collapse him like a praying mantis hunchback.
A praying mantis hunchback.
Yeah, I don't know. Those it sounded good in my head. I'm curious though. Like, I mean, what do you? I imagine if they did, they're gonna take that Tim Burton aesthetic, the suit, and they're gonna put a twist on it. If they put the red symbol, in there, I'm gonna Mac. I'm gonna go full Mac. I'm gonna freak out. And there goes my wedding ring. Wow.
Aren't you glad your wife isn't still watching the stream?
Oh, thank goodness. Okay. What are your thoughts on Keaton coming back?
I mean, I'm absolutely not against it. I did not have any issues with Keaton Batman. Uh-oh.
It's right over there, honey, I promise. It's right there. I can see it. So the rumor is like he's going to be like a mentor figure over the next couple DC films.
And see how, I mean, we've wanted, even if it's not Batman Beyond, we've wanted to see something like that of Batman passing on the torch, because that is a unique thing to see, especially in Batman.
Right. I was busted on live, so it's there forever.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting because like you it happens in the comics, right? Like at one point, Batman gives the mantle over to Dick Grayson at one point.
Yes.
Then you get Terry McGinnis kind of taking it over. It makes sense, right? But like, then the snag that I hit is like, okay, well, how does Pattinson fit into all this, or does he fit at all? Yeah. Right? Like, I mean, I get it, right? Scuttlebutt. Ro, Brad, the scuttlebutt is that the Batman, the Matt Reeves trilogy is not connected to anything at all.
Yeah.
But then again, you start throwing around the idea of Flashpoint and the multiverse and everything. Okay, then is it not connected, or could it be connected? Could we see Pattinson do this? Who knows? Yeah. I think it's the simultaneously most confusing, but also the part about it that I love the most. This is what I love about DC films the most right now, is we literally have no fucking clue what we're getting. We have no idea. None whatsoever. We're playing craps with this. Which I kind of like, because, as like the Marvel movies are like, they're like a nice pair of pants, right? They fit every time you put them on. They feel great every time you put them on. They're reliable. They stretch just right. There's no rips. There's no tears. There's no chafing, right? Like, that's the Marvel movies. They're reliable. You're going to get a certain.
It's like the third time we've made this analogy when talking about Marvel movies and DC movies.
Have I made 3 different pants analogies?
Yes.
Holy shit! Apparently, I've got a problem. Damn it. I need to find new analogies.
Everything's just comfortable pants to you.
Tells you where my priorities are as a 32-year-old man. I mean, like, I've got a couple priorities in life. I want a comfortable bed and some comfortable pants, okay? Get off my dick about it, Brad. So, damn it, completely fucking derailed me. I love that this is happening live, but the audio version is going to be so awkward. If you're around in his indie repertoire, Pattinson is capable of that dark, conflicted characters. He's purely neurotic in regular life. Yeah, he's a weird dude in regular life. He's a weird dude. I remember not too long ago, the internet like lost their shit over like the fact that he said he wasn't training during quarantine. Like he didn't feel compelled to train for the role, right? And everybody jumped his shit, right? And I'm thinking to myself, like, hey, guys, those costumes, they're padded. It's okay. And then I'm thinking, like, okay, what kind of Batman do you expect, right? Like, do you want the fucking Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns tank? Well, we got that with Ben, also padded suit. And moreover, when these stars get into these roles and they have to like change their bodies very quickly, I hate to bust everyone's bubble, but being in the strength world as long as I have, they're using steroids. Now, it's okay. Everybody, don't freak out. It's all right. A lot of people do them. Actors do them all the time. It's their choice, but there are consequences to doing them. You could look at Ben Affleck after he stopped being Batman. His body did some fucking weird shit. And that can happen. So I don't really blame Robert Pattinson for not wanting to go that route. If he wanted to be a more slim, athletic, dexterous Batman, give it a go.
Like Terry McGinnis.
Yeah, or even like Christian Bale, man. Like Christian Bale got fucking huge for Batman Begins. Like huge. And then when it comes time to The Dark Knight Rises, he slimmed down. He was not carrying that much muscle because it's hard to keep that much muscle. Trust me. Yes, give me Peter Griffin in a Batman suit. In fact, give me a Family Guy adaptation of any one of the Burton or Schumacher movies. I'm all for it. Yes, like Adam West. Adam West was in shape for the time, but he wasn't super jacked, you know? And plus, honestly, if you're thinking about Batman practically, let me tell you something. You can see this in like mixed martial arts and fighting sports. Like dudes that are super, super jacked are not very mobile and they gas out pretty quickly, right? That's a lot of muscle to carry. It's a lot of oxygen that you need to fuel that muscle.
He keeps going.
Oh no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Watch hell yeah, watch the behind the scenes. They pull him off and give him an oxygen thing. Hell yeah. You carry that much muscle on you, it's really hard to maintain any kind of cardiovascular endurance. So it would make sense from a practical standpoint that Batman would not be that jacked. Okay, if he needs to be light enough to swing around rooftops and shit, and he needs to be quick enough to fight a bunch of people at the same time, he's not going to look like the Hulk. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, and plus, dudes, men, look at me. Comic books are hyper-realized versions of what the ideal male body should be. Notice the word hyper, right? Like, it's really he doesn't need to look like that.
I always find myself a Commissioner Gordon, honestly. Like that's
right.
That's my spirit animal right there.
My spirit animal at the moment is Robot Man, Cliff from Doom Patrol. He speaks to me. He speaks to me.
Why.
Which is actually, going back to the Batman thing. This is actually a good thing. I think it's funny that Michael Keaton is now could be coming back into the role as Batman, and there's zero expectation for that guy to get jacked. Zero. And then, like, I think to myself, when Michael Keaton was playing Batman, he was probably not that jacked either. He had a dad bod. It's like a recent thing that, I think it's because every superhero movie they shoot, it's like a contractual obligation that there has to be a 7-second vanity shot where like the star is going to have their shirt off. It happens in every fucking origin story, right? Like Captain America, Robert Downey Jr. had to have like a tank top shot in Iron Man. Thor, every Thor movie, he's got his shirt off. Like he keeps Thor, even when he was fat Thor, he wasn't wearing a shirt.
It was fat Thor.
And I love fat Thor. I don't care what anyone says. I love fat. Like Lebowski Thor is my Thor. Because he's exactly what I would be if I was imbued with the power of the gods. Like lazy, inebriated, like bent consciousness for the most part. Super fat. I would have no desire to be in shape. It's like I can fly, dude. Why do I want to be?
I wouldn't be inebriated.
I would. All the time. Yes, right. And that was, actually, Leslie has a good point. The hyper idealized male body did come about in the 1980s, right? Because you had Sylvester Stallone, you had Schwarzenegger, Dolph Lundgren towards the end. And then, yes. Your feelings of inadequacy are shared. Your feelings of inadequacy are shared. They're shared. Hugh Jackman did. He really did take it to the extreme. And look, in all actuality, what was Hugh Jackman's biggest? He was probably the biggest for the Wolverine, the first James Mangold Wolverine movie. He was probably taking some substances for that too. Just saying. And it's okay. It's okay. It's their call.
The only time steroids are really frowned upon is when it's in like sporting competitions.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I've got feelings. Not that I'm on gear. Clearly, I'm too soft to actually be on gear myself.
By the way, this cup does have Jack and Coke in it.
Good man. Good man. I like that you're consistent. 3 years in, you're still using this as an excuse just to fucking drink. I love it.
Yeah. I mean,
I love it. Uppers, downers.
Mine doesn't down me though.
That's okay. So for the uninitiated,
I was going to say there are a few people that have never heard this one before.
Brad is impervious to substance.
Yes.
I don't even know if he's ever been drunk.
No, never been drunk. Never been drunk.
I know for a fact he's only been high once, and it took an incredible amount of concentrated shit to do that. Yeah, so he's drinking the Jack and Coke just for the fun of it. What was the comment? What was that comment?
To maintain an enormous body size, Batman would be too busy eating 17 times a day to fight crime.
Yes, absolutely.
And then we got Pizza and Parsecs. Batman feeds on justice.
Justice. Mm. Yeah, I mean, I can attest to that, man. I can attest to that. Like when you have to eat that much food, like do you really think he's carrying Tupperware on the utility belt? I mean, get out of here. Get out of here. Justice Gordon's tears if you're talking about the Harley Quinn show. The Harley Quinn cartoon. Jim Gordon is the most pathetic character on that show.
Is he really?
Dude, it's awesome. It's so awesome. That show is so fucked. I love it. Because they take like King Shark, and he's like the most wholesome guy, but then he just chews people in half. It's amazing. It's amazing. Dude, if you have not watched Harley Quinn, get on it. It's fucking hilarious. It's hilarious. Leslie, Batman's meal preps would be like, it's just chicken and rice all the time. And there's no seasoning, there's no salt, there's no nothing. He's just choking it down with his own guilt. Well, I got dark there for a second. Sorry.
A little bit. Bring it back. Bring it back.
I love how we've gotten so far off the fucking topic. Like, we're not even talking about Flashpoint anymore. I love it. Ultimately, I'm curious to see what else is going to trickle out about this thing. I know this Flash movie has been a long time coming. I remember, what was it, around like 2016, 2017? It was supposed to come out like either this year or next year. And
was it really?
Yeah, it's had director changes and writer changes, and they've gone back to it's had an interesting history. But I think that you're starting to see all this stuff about it because of how important it's going to be to where the DCEU is eventually taken. Thankfully, I think in 2 months, in August, we're getting the DC Fandom, that online virtual experience where they're going to be announcing all kinds of shit. Hopefully we'll get a lot more information by then. I bet you at DC Fandom, they're going to do what D23 did when they announced the Kenobi series. They're going to pull Michael Keaton on that stage just to say, I'm Batman. Bet you anything.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I mean,
bet. Because they did it with Ewan McGregor at D23. All he said was, hello there. And everybody came at the same time. Mm-hmm. Everybody came. So you imagine it's not going to be in a giant hall full of people, but I mean, hell, there's about to be some malfunctioning keyboards out there.
At what was it? It was at like a Comic-Con or something when they announced Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
And you had what's his name? He's been in everything. Thanos, the guy who played Thanos.
Josh Brolin.
Yeah, Josh Brolin. They had Josh Brolin come out wearing an Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh yeah. I mean,
that was literally like the panel was over, everyone was standing, and then they're just like, "Oh wait, hold on!" And then Josh Brolin comes out with the Infinity Gauntlet, and just starts walking around like, "Yes!"
I'm telling you right now, man. When this DC Fandom thing happens, if they drop the Snyder Cut trailer, like the full trailer, and they give us Michael Keaton's announced that he's coming back for Flashpoint, and they give us whatever else, like what was the other thing?
Beyond.
Well, like I'm gonna have a heart attack. No, it's all those probably. Oh, you know what, dude? What if they gave us a sneak peek at the Batman?
That'd be cool.
Because that movie is supposed to be loosely drawing from The Long Halloween. Have you read that one?
I don't think so.
It's a pretty long series, but I mean, The Long Halloween is brilliant. And it's like this gritty noir detective story, and it has a lot of the rogues, and we know we're getting a lot of rogues in this. If they drop us any like usable footage from the Batman, I'm gonna freak out. I'm gonna freak out. And it's awesome though. I think this is really good timing too, because Marvel's whole slate has been pushed back, right? Like Black Widow's not coming out for a couple months. We're not getting a first look at the Eternals anytime soon. This is DC's moment to be like, this is their moment. And I mean, man, it's a good time to be an open-minded DC fan. Yeah. I think that's a fair assessment. That's fair. If you're willing to take the interesting path that I think DC is getting down, it's a good time to be a fan. Because we know we've got some cool things in the pipeline. We know we've got James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, which they'll probably drop footage from that as well. We've got David Sandberg is going to be going back to starting to shoot Shazam 2 very soon. Black Adam is coming. What else? The Batman's coming. I mean, like, you know what else? You know what else they do? If they do this at DC Fandom, if they announce that Cavill's coming back to wear the cape. Okay, Trish, I love this question. Batsuit, nipples or no nipples? So we have avoided having this debate. We have avoided this. It's a tense subject. The child in me that would wear out the VHS of Batman and Robin. I'm going to go with the nipples.
I thought it was Batman and Throbbing.
Yeah, that was. Yes, okay, so for the uninitiated, Buttman and Throbbing was my very first porn experience that I ever witnessed. It was a early 1980s John Holmes film. It's brilliant, actually. It's brilliant. So, God, you derailed me with that. So the nostalgic child in me says yes to bat nipples. Even more yes to the Bat credit card. Because how boss is Bat? Yeah, remember he had that moment in Batman and Robin where he's like, never leave the cave without it.
Yes.
Like the fact that Batman got a Discover card and they still probably don't have his information to bill him. That's some boss shit. That is some boss shit. Let's call that what it is. Yeah. Wow. Way to go, Trish, with the bat nipples.
Well, that was B. Perry.
Oh, Brandon. Sorry, Brandon. My bad. Now that's also saved for posterity as well. Yes. Yeah, actually, you know what? Let's do that with Pattinson. Let's make sure that when he's in the middle of a fight, he has like these retractable nipples that just go whoop, just like that. Just to show when he's really into it. Yeah. Anyway.
So Trish is 3 feet shorter than me.
That's true. Bat nipples only work if they think it's not body armor. Well, you know what, though? Because, Frank Miller's Dark Knight Return states that the bat symbol is as big as it is, and it's right where it is because it's a bulletproof plate, right? What if he had, like, really large nipples? And I'm talking, like, pepperoni nipples magnified by 3 times. And those are both just bulletproof plates. That would really alter. Like, he would no longer be scaring criminals. It would not be scaring criminals anymore. It'd be like, that's an interesting costume choice.
You'd almost have like that moment from The Amazing Spider-Man. Oh no, you found my one weakness. It's really small knives.
Let's be real though. Like, if you and I were to attempt to be superheroes, we'd probably fuck up the costume making process to that extent where we'd be trying to put like bulletproof armor in there, and it would just look like really large nipples.
Yeah,
we'd look like like Madonna in one of her videos. That'd be us. We'd fuck that up.
God.
Goodness gracious. How did we come to this? How did we get here?
Somebody asked bat nipples or no bat nipples.
Kevlar nipples. Yes. We have now successfully killed like 3 minutes on nipples. Suck it, internet. Woo!
I will go and spend $1 million on a DARPA round just to shut that shit up. Oh, God. Because nothing beats Kevlar like a smart round that is fired from a .50 caliber.
Actually, you know what beats Kevlar easier?
What?
Arrows.
That's true.
Smaller
That's very
surface,
true.
Smaller surface area slips between the plates.
That's true. Which actually brings up a good question. When are we going to see Green Arrow?
Dude, that needs to happen.
It does.
There needs to be a Green Arrow.
It does.
You know, at this point, you know, DC, you know, in a way, they're kind of playing it safe with some of the marquee characters. They did take some risk with Birds of Prey. I mean, like to throw movie money behind Huntress and Black Canary. That's a good move.
I would too, honestly. Those are great characters if you're a DC fan.
That's a smart move. Do that. Are they willing to put big money behind a Green Arrow? I don't know. Like, I mean, the CW show was awesome. I mean, it was awesome. So I mean, obviously there is an appetite for something like that. But I think with the way DC is going now, where they're being very selective about the directors and the storytellers that they're giving these movies to, you give it to the right person, they'll make it sellable, right? Yeah. Like they'll make something that they can sell. You know, I could see that, and maybe, I mean, I don't know. The instinct is to compare it to Marvel, but at this point, it's no longer comparable. Like they're not the same entity. They're not going to go the same way. Green Lantern. Not
Ryan Reynolds.
Well,
don't you fucking mention it. Don't you fucking mention it.
There's rumors going around that he might be talking to Warner Brothers again. He might. That's just a rumor, though. It's just a rumor. Green Lantern. Well, this is what the thing. Like, I mean, Zack Snyder was teeing up Green Lantern, so we're gonna get some more Lantern. In the Snyder Cut, maybe not a whole lot, but we're going to get the allusion towards it. And they need to do what they intended to do. They need to do a Green Lantern core. They need to give a movie that centers around Hal Jordan and John Stewart.
I'm about to say John Stewart. I like him more than Hal Jordan, honestly.
I mean, here's why I think you could do both. If you needed to sell a DC style buddy cop movie, I mean, Hal Jordan and John Stewart, it's basically Lethal Weapon. If you cannot, it's Lethal Weapon with cosmic powers. And if you cannot make that work, you're a fucking fraud. Get out of here. Just walk. Because anybody should be able to make that work.
Yeah.
And,
but John Stewart, Leslie, that's my pick. You know, I really didn't pay much attention to a Green Lantern character until I saw Green Lantern in Justice League. And damn it, that was a good portrayal of Green Lantern. I like that one. Just like a military man that's no nonsense, but at the same time kind of laid back. I mean,
yeah, I mean, and you're gonna hate me for saying this, but you know who would make a buddy cop Green Lantern movie really work?
Depends. How hard am I going to kick you in the balls?
Ryan Reynolds. And fight me. Prove me wrong.
I would love to. I have like 100 pounds over you now.
No. Prove me wrong as to why Ryan Reynolds would not be the perfect Hal Jordan complement to any John Stewart. Like, even if you were to get Idris Elba, get that fine piece of man meat, get him in a Green Lantern, give him the ring, give Idris Elba the ring, get them together in a movie. Tell me that wouldn't be the best version of Lethal Weapon you have seen since Lethal Weapon 2. 3 and 4 don't count.
We don't talk.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, no, honestly, if it wasn't for the first Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds, I don't know how I'd feel about Ryan Reynolds being Green Lantern. Right. I've seen him in Deadpool, and I mean, he's an excellent Deadpool.
He is Deadpool.
Yes,
he is Deadpool.
He's Deadpool. Like we've got Wolverine now.
Oh man, this is the thing. This is actually what I'm kind of excited about with the Marvel end of it is, you know, now they're going to get a chance to catch lightning in a bottle again and make a whole new phase and a whole new set of phases about characters that most of us have probably never heard of and make us care.
Yeah. And
I think that is something that DC needs to do as well. They need to get deep. They need to get some deep cuts. You know, again, I'm going to harp on the Snyder Cut again because Snyder was going to give us a tease of the Martian Manhunter. We were going to get Martian Manhunter, which means we're going to get it again. So, yay. get those deep cuts characters, throw those lures out there into the lake, man. People are going to bite. People are going to bite. Like we're literally living in a golden age of geek media, right? Like we have never been this spoiled before in our entire lives. Like all the stuff that when we were kids, we were like, man, it'd be awesome if they made an Iron Man movie, or if it'd be awesome if they made Captain America. And we have it, hey, it'd be awesome if we were to see a good Bane on screen. We got it. You know what I mean? Like we are living in this golden age where we are literally want for nothing. They're just handing it to us. So much so that the level of critiques out there are astronomical. And in my head, I'm like, just be happy, bitches. We got it. We just don't let on that we're like, oh. No, they're going to take it away. They're going to take it away. We're going to go back to bat nipples. Is that what you want? Because that's where we're going. That's
what a lot of people want, apparently.
I mean, look, I love the Schumacher films for what they are. I love them for what they are. But if I had to honestly compare them to the shit we get now, it's not even close. It's not even close. The quality of storytelling we get, the amount of care and the amount of reverence that these characters are shown now. Come on. That's my 2 cents on the subject. You know what I haven't heard about in a while, and I'm wondering what the fuck happened to it?
What?
The Spawn movie.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't heard fuck all about that in a long time.
Yeah.
The last we heard was Jamie Foxx was cast as Al Simmons and Jeremy Renner was cast as Twitch, and we haven't heard anything. What gives, Todd McFarlane? What gives? I want that movie.
Let's see what we can do.
I want that movie. I want that movie so bad. Yeah, dead air. So how's everyone doing tonight? While Brad's looking this up, how's everyone doing? Light up that chat. Sharpen that booger picking finger and press it to the keyboard. You look vexed right now. You just look vexed.
Well, I'm trying to dig through like all the stuff that doesn't look real. Some of the stuff that's old, and like this one, June 1st, 2020. Announced that McFarlane, starting with Blumhouse Productions. Haven't heard any updates on this project lately, but Jason Blum, the founder and CEO of Blumhouse Productions, recently stated that Spawn is taking some promising steps forward.
Oh, God, I hate it when they say that. Promising steps.
Wasn't willing to delve into specifics. He's made it abundantly clear that Spawn has not been put on ice. Quite the opposite, in fact, as Blum added in his interview with comicbook.com that there's been a seismic event on Spawn. The project hasn't become a pipe dream for the production company. It's something that's still making progress.
Okay, so real quick, let's get to the comments here. My wife says she's doing pretty good. I'm glad to hear that, baby. I know you're like 20 feet away from me, but super stoked to hear that. As long as I don't get it, Brandon says, as long as we don't get a Super Mario meets Spawn moment again.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Fair enough. Trish is watching the kiddos, trying to watch us. Well, just ignore the kiddos. Problem solved. They'll figure it out. They'll be all right. Trying to keep Emil from eating an eraser. Okay, so I have said before that my pup Fives puts everything in his mouth. So I kind of get it. I mean, kind of.
What have you gotten from him?
He ate a sock.
Yeah, sock. I remember. Didn't you say like a marble or something?
Yeah, he's eating, I think, marbles. He's eating rocks, sticks. He eats sticks. Adorable as all get out. Not very bright. So if they're moving forward with Spawn, that's great. I just want to hear more about it because Blumhouse, they are the ones that did that Invisible Man movie, and I think so. And if you go listen to Dave and Liv over at Pizza and Parsecs, hey, they had an awesome review of that. And if that's the quality that Blumhouse is putting out, what we're going to get with this Spawn film could be something wholly unique. which I think works. We've talked before. I think that works better with that character.
Yeah,
personally.
Well, I remember hearing nothing about like their idea behind Spawn was like Spawn is like Jaws, where you don't see him, you just see like his work.
Yeah, like he's there, but you don't see him all the time. Like you might get glimpses and things like that, but yeah, and like the idea that it's centering around like a detective story with Twitch is really intriguing. Plus, I mean, kind of a bold decision, right? To do a comic book based movie in which the titular character of your book is maybe going to be seen for all of maybe 20 minutes, maybe, out of the whole movie. Kind of a bold move.
That gives you the chance for a grand reveal at the end, though.
Yeah, I'm going to have to wear my waterproof pants in the movie theater for that one. Yes, it is, you guys. So let's go ahead. We're at a crisp hour 20. Let's go ahead and land this bird.
All right.
So overall thoughts. We're stoked for Flashpoint, right? We're stoked for the possibility that Keaton could be coming back. Yeah. So there's our thoughts on that.
We're easily pleased. So I mean,
yeah. We are very much the everything is awesome crowd. You keep feeding it, I'll keep eating it. So in the interest of landing this bird, Brad, where can they find you?
Y'all can find me on Facebook. I am the Facebook page, Force Losers. That's it. You can find the podcast. We are on for now. It's probably going to change, but we're on Podbean, Stitcher, iTunes. Other than that, I am now on Twitter at Intrepid Co-host _co-host. Yeah. Kevin, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on the Twitters at Force_losers. If you're talking to the Force Losers, you're talking to me. Yes, Leslie, we did land firmly in the pro nipple camp. Very much pro nipple here at the Force Losers podcast. In fact, may I be so bold as to say free the nipple here at the Force Losers podcast. Nip slip. Anyway, you guys can find me on Twitter at Force_losers. If you're talking to the Force Losers on Twitter, you're talking to me. You guys can also find me on Instagram at HeavyKevvyHKT. I don't post much there, but you guys also can find the podcast at red5network.com. We are proud members of the Red 5 Network's Gold Squadron. We're making that trench run all up in your face.
Don't reference the trench run. Don't reference the trench run. That's
why? Why is it because like one Y-wing? It's like one Y-wing came back. How do you know that's not you? How do you know I didn't? I guarantee you, with my hand-eye coordination, you've seen me play Battlefront. You know I'm dead in the first 5 minutes.
Exactly. You're going to crash into a wall.
Yeah, so how do you know you're not the one that gets out of there?
None of them make it out.
There's one Y-wing. There's one Y-wing that flies away. There's one Y-wing that flies away. How do you know that's not you? Gold Squadron for life. Okay? I will gladly die first because it's probably going to happen anyway.
I was about to say, you're Portkins if you drove a Y.
Got a slight problem here.
I'm having some problem here.
Anyway, guys, go to red5network.com. It is your one-stop shop for amazing podcasts. You got Pizza and Parsecs, Jedi Temple Archive, Scarif Scuttlebutt. You've got Conversations, Coruscant Radio Underground, You of Coruscant. You've got the Galactic Podcast. You got the Western Galactic Public Access. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. And if you go way down at the bottom of the list, basically at the bottom of the trash bin, you'll find us. We're there. You guys can also, if you are so inclined, no pressure, don't feel any pressure, but we have a TeePublic account now. And we have a couple different things on there. We have a basic sticker of a logo for the Force Losers podcast. We have a sticker that I affectionately titled the Galaxy's Okayest Jedi. It's a visual representation what would happen if Brad and I got like a D- on our Jedi trials. We also have a t-shirt that has some cool designs on it. And then we have probably my favorite t-shirt design out of the bunch. The idea was get a picture of Brad and I in cardboard costumes of the Megazord and the Dragonzord slap fighting. And the finished product fills me with so much joy because it's like what would happen if, like, you said to your mom when you were a kid, I want to be the Megazord, and they have a Megazord costume, but it's too expensive. So your mom's like, I could fucking make that. And then she busts out the cardboard and the crayon and slaps it on you to go trick-or-treating. That's what it looks like, and that makes me fucking laugh because that happened to me one year. I wanted to be a Ghostbuster, and my mom slapped a cardboard box and a garden hose on my back. And you know what? I was fucking grateful. I didn't even realize how poor I was.
I did that for the Ninja Turtles. I was Raphael.
Yes. So long diatribe.
I still maintain that you're not that fucking tall.
I'm not. No, they are not to scale. They are not to scale.
Not at all.
Let's just say I'm wearing pumps. How about that? We'll just say that.
You're like the bottom section of the legs is solid.
Yeah, like I'm wearing pumps. We'll just call it that. Yes, and that was thanks to Leslie. Leslie was the one who drew that for us. She's an amazing artist. I love her to death. Thank you. So, if you feel so inclined to go over to the TeePublic account and get yourself some stickers and get yourself some shirts, we'd be really, really grateful. Everything we could make from this goes right back into the show, goes right back into making this whole thing better. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate all of you, everybody, for hanging out. We really appreciate it. This was a whole lot of fun. We're going to be doing a lot more of this, especially as we start running out of ideas for shows. This is probably going to happen a lot more. So everybody, you guys have, yes, Dave, please. This is why I suck at promotion with my podcast. I should be at the top of the show being like, what's up, everybody? Fucking launch a targeted ICBM on that like button, smash that like button. I should be saying these things, but like I don't. And
he's good at sucking everyone else's dick except for ours.
I will be a whore for whatever sponsor wants to shuck their items my way, but I am terrible at promoting my own shit.
Leslie's
awful at it. Okay. All right, guys. Again, thank you so much for hanging out. It was so much fun. We will be back soon. We've got some cool stuff coming down the pipeline. I'm not going to tell you about it. I'm not going to say anything, but it's going to be pretty gnar. We're going to be cutting through that gnar with some fun stuff coming down the line. So, thank you guys. Y'all have a lovely evening, have a lovely weekend, and we will see you guys soon. Cut it there, Brad.